Millionaire CEO Jonathan Miller had just reached his black BMW when he heard a sharp, high-pitched voice telling him to shut up and not say a word. The sound cut through the stillness of the parking lot. Like a blade, Jonathan froze with the key in his hand, stunned that the voice had come from inside his own car. Peering into the dim interior, he saw a black girl about 7 huddled in the back seat, her eyes wide with fear. "They are listening," she whispered, pointing toward the corporate building. Behind him, your partner and his blonde wife. They said you would be here now. Jonathan, 52 years old, had never imagined his life could be altered by a street child. He had built Miller Industries from the ground up into a technology powerhouse valued at $200 million. He had trusted his partner, Marcus Williams, for 15 years, and his executive assistant, Diana Foster, for 10. "How did you get into my car?" he asked, quietly slipping into the driver's seat without sudden movements. "The cleaning lady left it open when she left. I hid because I saw them talking about you upstairs," she replied. Her eyes shone with intelligence that contrasted sharply with her dirty clothes. "They said that tomorrow you will not own anything anymore." Jonathan's blood chilled. Tomorrow was a meeting with Japanese investors for a $400 million merger, one that Marcus and Diana had painstakingly arranged. "What else did you hear?" he asked, pretending to check his phone while keeping an eye on the glowing windows of the 10th floor. "They said you are very stupid and you will sign papers without reading them properly." The blonde woman laughed and said that the day after tomorrow you will have to find another job. The girl shrank further. "They said other bad things about you, but my grandmother always told me children should not repeat bad words." Jonathan felt a strange mix of rage and pride. This child had risked her own safety to warn a stranger. "A betrayal." "What is your name?" "Jasmine." "And yours is Jonathan Miller, because I heard them say it 1,000 times." She hesitated. "Are you going to call the police on me now?" For the first time in weeks, Jonathan smiled. "No, Jasmine, you may have just saved everything I have built in my life through the rear-view mirror." He saw the office lights going out. Marcus and Diana were likely on their way down, confident that tomorrow would be the day they finally removed him. What they did not know was that Jonathan Miller had just found the most unlikely ally, and that Jasmine had given him something far more valuable than any business meeting. Time to prepare. As he drove away, Jonathan was already crafting a plan. But why would a 7-year-old risk so much to save a man? She did not know the answer to that would not only shape his revenge, but change his entire view of justice. Jonathan steered through the quiet city streets, his mind piecing together Jasmine's words like parts of a puzzle. In the back seat, the girl stayed alert, her eyes scanning the mirrors. Jonathan finally asked, "Did they say anything else?" Keeping her voice low, Jasmine told him that the blonde woman had compared him to an obedient little dog and added that tomorrow he would learn that little dogs sometimes bite their owners. The casual cruelty of those words struck Jonathan like a punch to the stomach. 15 years of partnership and a decade of complete trust in Diana, and yet they saw him as nothing more than a foolish pet. "Where do you live, Jasmine?" he asked. "Nowhere in particular," she replied with a shrug that carried a heartbreaking naturalness. "Sometimes at the shelter, sometimes on the street. It depends on whether there is space or the other boys are not being too annoying." Jonathan stopped at a red light and turned to face her directly. "Why did you tell me? You don't even know me." Jasmine's eyes gleamed with a wisdom far beyond her years. "Because I know what it feels like when people act as if you are invisible. They were talking about you like you were stupid. Like you were nothing." Her voice grew firmer. "My grandma always said when you see someone getting stepped on and you can help, you help. Because next time it could be you." The light turned green, but Jonathan stayed motionless for a few seconds, absorbing the powerful lesson in humanity he had just been given by a 7-year-old. 20 minutes later, they were in an empty diner, Jasmine tearing into a hamburger, while Jonathan absently stirred a cup of cold coffee. His phone buzzed with a message from Marcus. "Ready for tomorrow, buddy. The Japanese are going to love our proposal. You're going to retire rich." Jonathan turned the screen toward Jasmine, who let out a small laugh. "He has some nerve, doesn't he? Lying to your face." And still smiling, "Marcus has always been like that, charming, convincing." Jonathan typed back a friendly reply, carefully hiding the fury that burned in him. "Diana, too, she knows my schedule better than I do. She has access to everything in the company, and you are going to let them fool you tomorrow." Jonathan said with a genuine smile. "No, Jasmine, but they cannot know that I know." Another message came in, this time from Diana, telling him she had reviewed the final contracts and that everything was perfect for signing, urging him to trust her. As he always had, the cold politeness wrapped in fake warmth made his stomach tighten. For 10 years, she had been as confident. The one who organized his life knew his schedule, his passwords, his fears. "Do they know things about you?" Jasmine asked while licking ketchup from her fingers. "They know everything. Bank passwords, company accounts, where I keep important documents." The scale of betrayal was sinking and they've had years to prepare. But you have years of stuff on them too, right, Jasmine, said Jonathan, stopped mid-sip. Because she was right 15 years with Marcus 10 with Diana. He knew their secrets, as well as they knew his Marcus's secret meetings with competitors, the irregular. Bonuses Diana funneled to herself the emails. He had read by accident the conversations, overheard, when they thought he was not listening. You have a sharp mind, Jasmine. My grandmother always said, when you have nothing you learn to pay attention to everything they think you are stupid. But you are not a you. Jonathan smiled, feeling something he had not felt in years, a surge of hope. No, I am not. His phone rang. Marcus, of course, sounding cheerful as he confirmed last-minute details, pretending they were. Working toward Jonathan's success, Jonathan played along, telling Marcus he could not wait. Marcus boasted that everything was ready and all Jonathan had to do was show up and sign, where Diana told him the arrogance was thick. They really believed he was nothing more than a puppet. When he hung up, Jasmine studied him. You are planning something. Your eyes looked different. Every fake smile, every patronizing tone, every lie from the last few months snapped into focus. They had not only betrayed him, but underestimated him. Years of building companies had taught Jonathan a core rule: the best strategies are silent. While Marcus and Diana toasted their premature victory, he would be turning their own arrogance into the weapon that destroyed them. The next morning, Jonathan awoke with a clarity he had not felt in months. Jasmine was curled up on the living room couch under a blanket. For a moment, he simply watched the girl who had changed the course of his life. In one night, his phone buzzed with a message from Diana sent before sunrise, claiming she had been at the office. Jonathan could be far more dangerous than they imagined. Jasmine clapped her hands with excitement, like she was watching a scene from a movie you pretend you're going to sign. But you already know everything. Gabriel allowed himself the first smile since arriving. Exactly. And while they are celebrating too early, you turn them over to the police, catching them red-handed with evidence. They cannot deny his phone buzzed again, a message from Diana telling Jonathan he was the best boss a girl could ask for, and that after today their partnership would last forever. The hypocrisy of her words made Jonathan's stomach twist. She was not only stealing money, she was savoring the humiliation she believed she was about to deliver. They think I am a sentimental fool, Jonathan said, sliding his phone away. They think my kindness is weakness. Gabriel shut his tablet, his eyes cold. Then it is time to show them that kindness mixed with strategy can be a deadly weapon. Jasmine leapt from the couch, her eyes alight with determination. And I can help. I can hide near the meeting room and record everything on your phone. For a moment, Jonathan hesitated. She was only 7 years old. But then he remembered how she had already risked herself to ward him. All right, he said at last. But Gabriel stays with you every second. Gabriel nodded with a thin smile. It will be a pleasure to watch them realize they picked the wrong people to underestimate as they worked out the last details. Jonathan felt a surge of energy he had not known in years. A thrill of the chase. Marcus and Diana had spent 2 years crafting their perfect trap. What they did not realize was that in a matter of hours it would snap shut on them, destroying not only their plans, but their entire lives. For 15 years, Jonathan had been the trusted partner, the patient boss, the man who believed in people. Today, they would learn that there's a far more dangerous side to kindness, the one that appears when patience finally runs dry. The meeting was set for 2 o'clock, and by 5 minutes past, Marcus and Diana would understand that the quiet lamb they thought they were leading to slaughter had grown sharp fangs and was ready to use them. At exactly 2, Jonathan walked into the Miller Industries conference room. As if it were any other workday, Marcus and Diana were already inside, arranging neat stacks of documents. With the precision of surgeons preparing for an operation, Marcus rose with a broad smile, embracing him like a brother. Glad you are here. The Japanese are on their way, and everything is perfect. Diana stepped forward, carrying a leather briefcase and wearing a motherly smile. Boss, you just need to sign where I'm marked with yellow notes. Trust me, as you always have, she said in the condescending tone of someone speaking to a child. Sure, Jonathan replied evenly. But first, I want to show you something interesting I learned last night. Gabriel Torres entered the room carrying a box of files, followed closely by 2 federal investigators. Marcus and Diana exchanged quick glances, but kept their smiles. Gabriel. Marcus frowned. I thought you didn't.